أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. All thanks and praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, we have gathered in His masjid and we are here seeking the pleasure of Allah, to learn the deen of Allah, to learn Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inshallah, today we are trying to understand. In the last few weeks, we understood that Tawheed is obligatory. We understood the significance of Tawheed, how La ilaha illallah was much more valuable than all this universe contains. We understood this purification of Tawheed, how we need to purify our Tawheed and we keep it free from shirk. And we also understood the fear of shirk. We should always have the fear of shirk within ourselves. And after learning all of these, what should we do? So alhamdulillah, we have learned Tawheed. We know Tawheed is the key to Jannah. We know that without Tawheed, all your actions can be destroyed if your Tawheed is not correct. And we learned that you could do all your salat, all your hajj, but if your Tawheed is not correct, they are not the keys to Jannah. So the Tawheed has to be correct before the actions. We learned Tawheed. How do you understand Tawheed? We learned the Isbat and Nafi. That you have to affirm things for Allah, anything that is for Allah, and you have to negate that thing cannot belong to somebody other than Allah. So you see, Allah is the creator, but just saying Allah is the creator is not enough. You also have to negate by saying no one else besides Him is the creator. So every aspect of Tawheed has to be with Isbat and Nafi, affirmation and negation for other than Allah. The way we say La ilaha illallah. So we understood all these things, alhamdulillah. So now what should be our action? We just take it to ourselves, keep it ourselves, be happy, or we should call others towards it? So the topic of today is that we should call other people towards La ilaha illallah, towards the understanding of Tawheed. So we need to invite people to Tawheed. This is the most important thing. What were all the prophets and messengers sent for? They were all sent to call people to worship Allah alone and to avoid taghut. We understood this in the last few weeks. So this was the dawah, this was the message of each and every messenger. So inshallah we are trying to understand from the ayat and ahadith the importance of this. Like in Khutbatul Wida, when Prophet ﷺ went for the farewell Hajj, he gave the khutbah, and then what did he tell to the Sahaba? There are 124,000 Sahaba, 124,000 Sahaba, and he told them that whoever are present, take it to the people who are absent. So it's a command of Prophet ﷺ that when you receive a message, you take it to others. As in another hadith, Prophet ﷺ said that share and convey from me, even if you know an ayah, even if you know Qul huwallahu ahad, it's an ayah. Take it to others. Inform them that this is an ayah. This is what it means. So learn and take what Prophet ﷺ has taught us and take it to other people. So this is the dawah that Prophet ﷺ advised us to do. So the ayah in Surah Yusuf, ayat number 108, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kul hazihi sabili. Say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding the Prophet ﷺ to say to Muhammad ﷺ, this is my way. Ad'u ilallahi ala basirah. I invite unto Allah with sure knowledge. وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَني, me and those who follow me. وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. So this is the ayah. So the translation of the ayah is, say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is my way, I invite unto Allah. So this is the part of calling to Allah. So what was Prophet ﷺ is saying? That I invite unto Allah. So this is an action of the Prophet ﷺ. And then the ayah continues with sure knowledge. So Prophet ﷺ said, I invite unto Allah with sure knowledge. So the invitation, the dawah was on sure knowledge, was on certainty, was on basira, clarity. So he had the clarity and he used to invite to Allah upon all this. And this ayah is from Surah Yusuf. And Surah Yusuf comes after Surah Ibrahim, Surah Yunus, Surah Hud. And all these surah, they all talk about what? About the dawah of all the prophets. What did all the prophets call to? We've learned what did Ibrahim alayhi salam call his father to? To worship one Allah alone. Do not worship others besides Allah. What is Yunus alayhi salam called to? What did Yusuf alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam, all the prophets they called to? I'll worship Allah alone. So here Prophet ﷺ is reaffirming that Hazihi Sabili, this is my way. So what is my way? What is he calling to? And I call to it. So he is calling again to worship Allah alone. So that's the main dawah Prophet ﷺ. Adu min Allah, I call towards Allah, ala basira, with sure knowledge, with understanding, and with yaqeen. So not with ignorance. So dawah is with yaqeen, with knowledge. So you should invite with firm knowledge. So from this, the scholars explain that, so what about the people who are not scholars? Can they not call people towards the deen? Are they not supposed to call? No, they can. So whatever you know, because we know, so you can call to what you know about. But you become a da'i, you call people to the deen, but don't become a mufti. Don't start, when you're taking classes, don't start giving fatwa, don't start giving religious verdicts. Connect people to the scholars. When they come to you with matters which are fundamental matters, tell them, okay, we need to go back to the scholars and understand how this is understood. So don't start your own fatwa shops. This is what creates fitna among the community when the brothers who are starting giving dawah. So if you go and ask them questions, they start giving their own opinions. So don't start distributing your opinions. This leads to a lot of fitna. So we need to connect people to the scholars. But yes, the brothers who have some knowledge, who can share the knowledge, they should. And each and every Muslim is a da'i. Each and every person should spread whatever he knows, inshallah. And in the ayah, as the ayah continues, Ana wa mani taba'ani, me and those who follow me. So the Prophet ﷺ said, I call to Allah upon basira. And then he continues saying, me and those who follow me. So those who follow me, they also call to Allah. So following the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam doesn't mean following only in actions that we do in salah or only in the appearance that we follow him. This is the biggest responsibility that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had, which was calling people to Allah. Even before he called people to salah, even before zakah, even before hajj, what was the first thing that he was calling people to? When he was in Makkah had all the problems you could think of in this world. Makkah had the problem of zina. Zina was so armed that the women who were involved in this wrong action, they used to put a long flag on top of their house so you could see it from a long distance, so you know where you go to do the haram actions. So was the dawah started with, okay, we have a problem in the society, we have zina, let's stop this? No, the dawah started with La ilaha illallah. The Prophet ﷺ, the first thing he called people to was, come and say La ilaha illallah. So first dawah, first action that we need to call when we are talking about non-Muslims is La ilaha illallah. So the next hadith, inshallah, is Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala narrated when Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Muaz radiallahu ta'ala to Yemen. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam selected Muaz radiallahu ta'ala, and last week we understood about Muaz radiallahu ta'ala. He had a very high status. He died at a very young age of 38 years old. But he has such a high status that in Jannah he will be leading all the scholars. He will be ahead and all the scholars will be walking behind him. Because Allah had blessed him with so much of knowledge. So Muaz was selected by Prophet to be sent to Yemen. So why Yemen had a lot of Ahle Kitab, people of the book, the Jews and the Christians. So the hadith says when Allah's Messenger sent Muaz to Yemen, he said, you will come upon the people of the book. Let your first act be to call them to testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah. So Prophet ﷺ, he is walking with Muaz radiallahu ta'ala. Muaz is on the camel traveling towards Yemen, and Prophet ﷺ is advising him, you are going to a tough task. It's the people of the book. And the first thing once you go there is call them to what? To La ilaha illallah. to testify that there is no God, to bear witness that there is no God but Allah. That's the first task. So this shows the importance of this task. So did the Prophet ﷺ send a group of people to invite them? He sent one person, one Sahabi. So this is also evidence that, because people have nowadays, they say that if there is a khabar wahid is a hadith which comes from one narrator. We will not accept it. It needs to be a mutawatir, that many different Sahaba must have told it, only then we will accept it. This is not correct. This is something which later generations have come up with, which leads to a lot of issues. Why? So now Muaz radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Prophet is sending to the people of the book to a tough task, one Sahabi. Isn't he single? Isn't he the only one who's going to tell them what the deen has come with? Similarly, when Prophet ﷺ, he narrated something, let's say there are 50 Sahaba who were listening, they learned, all of them learned it, but in the first generations, one of the Sahabi, he went towards Iraq, the another one went to Khurasan, the other one went to Egypt. So Sahaba got divided. So the people of Egypt, they heard it only from one person. So it is for them khabar wahid. There is only one person who is narrating the hadith. So they accepted it. So this issue was never there in the earlier generation, so we should not get stuck by these things. A lot of people deny a lot of things saying this is khabar wahid. So this is something that came in later generations. This is one thing that we understand from the hadith of Muaz. The Prophet ﷺ, he sent one person to teach the whole deen. So even if a hadith comes from one person, if it is sikha, if the hadith is sahih, it is acceptable and actionable. So and then another narration of the same hadith continues that Prophet ﷺ said to you, invite them to single out Allah alone in the worship, that is to actualize the Tawheed of Allah. And if they obey you in this, so first thing is teach them Tawheed. If they accept Tawheed, they understand Tawheed, if they obey you in Tawheed, then if they obey you in this, inform them that Allah has prescribed for them to offer 5 prayers every day and night. If they obey you in this, then inform them that Allah has imposed upon them duty of zakat, to be levied from their rich and distributed to their poor. If they obey you in this, then be careful not to take the best of the properties as payment of zakat, and safeguard yourself against the supplication of those who have suffered injustice, because there is no will between the supplication and Allah. Hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. So what did we learn here? The first thing that he was commanded to invite people to was oneness of Allah. Once they accept that, when you're talking to non-Muslims, the first thing you should invite them to is oneness of Allah. That's the only focus. Once they accept that, next step is he accepted the Tawheed, then you teach him, okay, now you need to prescribe 5 prayers. Next, once he starts doing that, then you tell him about zakat. So this is how the Prophet ﷺ told his Sahabi to do. So this is the dawah for non-Muslims. When you come to Muslims, yes, you tell them everything if there is a Muslim. But then for a non-Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ told us how to do that. And then in zakat, they mention about the zakat, that you tell them about zakat, but then don't take the best thing from the zakat. What does it mean? For example, when you have animals, so you give us number of animals from your animals as zakat. So don't take their best of, for example, if they have horses, don't take the best horses. Take the medium ones, not the low ones, not the highest ones. Never do zulm. And the next, it mentioned don't do zulm upon people, because there is no wheel between the dua of the Mazloom and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you do zulm upon anyone, the moment he makes dua, it's accepted. So we have to be careful about doing zulm on people. So what we learn from this hadith again, similar to the ayah, is that the first thing we need to call people to is Tawheed. And then the next narration, and we'll stop with that inshallah. The hadith is from Sahal bin Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who said on the day of Khaybar, so Khaybar was, they went to fight the Yahud. Khaybar was the area of the Yahud. And so they went to Khaybar, and on the day of Khaybar, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had mentioned, tomorrow, so he's mentioning a night before the next day, tomorrow I shall indeed give the flag to a person who loves Allah and His Messenger and is loved by Allah and His Messenger. So the person to whom I will give the flag tomorrow, he loves Allah and His Messenger. The Prophet ﷺ is affirming that he loves. The Prophet ﷺ knows he is the Messenger of Allah. And he also said that Allah and His Messenger also love this person. And Allah will grant victory under his leadership. So the victory of Khaybar was promised, in fact, in the previous time when they went for Sulh Hudaybiyah. So when they were returning from Sulh Hudaybiyah, Allah promised them that you will have a victory soon, and that victory which was promised in Hudaybiyah was actually the victory of Khaybar. So the Prophet ﷺ said, I give the flag to a person whom Allah and His Messenger love, and he loves Allah and His Messenger, and victory will be granted under his leadership. The people spent the night absorbed in discussing as to whom might the flag be given. So they were all curious, they want the flag, right? Because Prophet ﷺ has guaranteed that this person is being loved by Allah and His Messenger. So they all wanted to be that person. In the morning they came eagerly to Allah's Messenger ﷺ, each of them hoping to be given the flag. Allah's Messenger ﷺ asked, so Prophet ﷺ asked, where is Ali bin Abi Talib? So Prophet ﷺ asked, he looked, because he didn't find Ali bin Abi Talib in the Saf, so he said, where is Ali bin Abi Talib? So the people replied, he's suffering from an eye ailment. So he had an eye ailment, he had a lot of pain, so he couldn't move. So that's why he wasn't present. So Prophet ﷺ said he was sent for and brought. So they went and called the Prophet ﷺ. So Allah's Messenger then spat in his eye and prayed for him, whereupon he was cured as if he had no previous pain. So Prophet ﷺ spat in his eye because he had pain, so it was cured immediately. So this is a miracle. And all miracles happen with the command of Allah. It's executed by a messenger. But the command and the power is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he got cured from his eye infection. Allah's Messenger ﷺ gave him the flag and said, so this part is important. The Prophet ﷺ gave him the flag and said, advance with ease and gentleness. So when you go towards the enemy, go with ease and gentleness. You don't go screaming and the way we do nowadays, right? If we go anywhere, we have to make a lot of noise. No, a Muslim goes with waqar, with dignity when he walks like a man. So go with ease and gentleness. Until you arrive in their midst, until you reach between them. Then call them to Islam. So even when you are in war, even before fighting them, what is he asking them? Call them to Islam. Invite them. So this is what we are saying, is inviting people to Allah. So call them to Islam and inform them of their duties to Allah in Islam. By Allah, if He may guide through you a single man to Islam, then it is better for you than the red camels. So even in such an important task, the first thing that he is supposed to do is call people to Islam. And the benefit of that is, if one person comes to Islam, it is better for you than the red camels. What it means? The red camels in that time was like something really amazing, something that you need to be very rich or filthy rich to be able to buy. So why are we very busy with? Why we don't do the dawah work? Why we don't have time to call people to Allah? Because we're busy trying to make our bread. But this work is more important than the money that you could make. Even if you can make $1 million, this is better than that. So you need to also spend your time in calling people to Allah. If one person learns something through you, every time he's acting on it till Yawmul Qiyamah, till he dies, you are also going to get an award without his award being diminished. If you teach somebody how to pray, if you teach somebody how to make wudu right. So we should always be calling people to the deen. And the best thing that we can call to in the deen is Tawheed. La ilaha illallah. Tell people, explain to him what is shirk, what is Tawheed, why doing a tawaf of graves is not allowed. That is shirk. Anything which is a form of worship cannot be devoted to other than Allah. So don't let our relatives, our neighbors, people that we know, that do not know clearly what Tawheed is, and we do not teach them this when we know it. Try to make sure that we spread La ilaha illallah and the understanding of Tawheed that Allah has blessed us with to everybody that we can. We'll stop at this inshallah. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Right.